What if the dimension of time was no different from the three dimensions of space we live in? What if you could travel to the past and to the future, the same way you can move right or left, up or down? Would you have the option to change the past, and assuming you did, would it make a time oddity? What sort of time machine would you really want to fabricate? At any rate, this would occur in the event that you could travel twice. How many times have you wished you could jump in a time machine and skip that boring meeting, or choose a bitter comeback in that argument last week? Time travel sounds like some wild fantasy that only happens in sci-fi movies. But we're actually traveling in time every day. Albert Einstein found that time is not a constant, but it's continually moving forward, and we're moving forward with it. According to Einstein, time is the fourth dimension. Together with three-dimensional space, it's fused into a single four-dimensional continuum spacetime. If you think of traveling in space, moving upwards is a bit of a challenge unless we get on a plane, or at least take the stairs, so maybe we just haven't come up with a proper machine to travel in time yet. Hypothetically, building a time machine is conceivable. The key to time travel isn't in some matter of issue. What you'd require is a spaceship that could travel nearly as quick as light. Einstein's hypothesis of relativity instructed us that the quicker we travel through space, the more slow we move on time. Let's expect you were in a spaceship going at 99.9% the speed of light to a possibly livable exoplanet around 40 light-years away. You discover some crude living things and speed back to Earth to share your discover. Yet when you at last return to Earth, you find that every one of your colleagues are presently incredibly old according to your perspective. You'd only been gone for about 2 years. For people on Earth, you'd been gone for 80. This phenomenon is known as time dilation. It's not likely to happen to you though, because traveling at the speed of light isn't quite possible with the technology we have. Now, the fastest piloted vehicle we've ever created, Apollo 10, reached a speed of 11,000 meters per second. The speed needed for time travel is somewhere near 299 million meters per second. On top of that, accelerating at that speed would cause an enormous centrifugal force, a force that would rip you apart before you came anywhere close to light speed. But we still have wormholes. Einstein predicted that these theoretical tunnels linked two separate places, and two different times, a shortcut to another universe and another time. The problem with wormholes is they are extremely tiny, just a billionth of a centimeter across. No human would be able to fit through. If by some stroke of good luck we could catch a wormhole, we could possibly develop it. Imagine a giant tunnel above the Earth leading to another planet, and theoretically, if we put both ends of a wormhole in the same place, but in different times, we could step into a wormhole and come out in the distant past. But wormholes have their issues. They are very short-lived, and traveling into the past would create paradoxes, like the one in which you go back in time and convinced your grandfather never to get married. Then your grandfather doesn't give birth to your dad, he doesn't have you. But if you didn't exist, who went back in time to talk your grandfather out of marrying your grandmother? Time is straight, it just goes ahead. Thus, we can go into the future, not to the past. Truth be told, space explorers that spent about a year on the International Space Station are presently living in the future contrasted with us. Even though it's just 13 milliseconds in the future, they are proof that traveling at time is possible, and maybe wormholes could open up a whole different world where the laws of physics work in different ways, and traveling to the past is possible. Would you dare step into a time machine not knowing where it would take you? And if you had the choice, where would you go and when?